Nerd reactor, roll out.
What's up, everybody? John here, and it's time to talk about Moana 2, the sequel to the first film that I absolutely loved. I just love the performances of Auli'i Cravalho as Moana, and you got Dwayne Johnson as Maui, and the music with Lin-Manuel Miranda and also Te Vaka. Everything about that movie I just really enjoyed, and then also the visuals, the adventure, and I was really looking forward to this film, just seeing the adventures of Moana and Maui. And just seeing Auli'i and Dwayne just coming back together, I feel like it's gonna be a solid flick. Like it's not gonna be that hard to just make this a disappointment. But for me, I was wrong, and this is my reaction that I posted on Twitter on X. Moana 2 felt like a way inferior Moana 1, and similar story of Moana just wanting to travel again, but she's trying to help out, but it's just not as interesting. And the songs were okay, and the only catchy ones were the ones used in the first film. The oh way, that one, and then also some other ones like the intro. The supporting cast of characters, they are just lackluster. Like, I didn't care about any of them. So yeah, I watched this movie at the El Capitan in Hollywood, and I was just talking to my other colleagues, but also I was looking at movie Twitter and movie X, however you want to call it, and it looks like majority of the people enjoyed this movie, but I felt like, I guess I'm the odd one out with this on my thoughts on this film, just not being a fan of it. But before that, I do want to talk about the stuff I do enjoy, because I do enjoy just seeing Dwayne Johnson back as Maui, and also Auli'i as Moana, just them together, hanging out, doing their thing. It's just a pleasure to see. But I think that's pretty much it, just because of their story. Their story was just not that interesting, because here you have Moana. She's now like a hero to her island, but she wants to help bridge the gap. So the story kind of reminds me of, if you played Death Stranding with Norman Reedus, his character, he's trying to bridge the world. He's trying to go out there, create a thread, create a rope, and connect the world so that everyone can just talk together again. But here with Moana, now she has a goal of trying to find out the other islands, other people out there. And to do that, she's got to reach this one island. So this one island is the key. And there are some obstacles for here and there. But other than that, that's just the story. And her struggles, like, they're trying to add something to it. But that's it. She's just trying to get to that island, and nothing's gonna get in her way. She'll find some other way to reach that island. And I'm like, okay, all right, whatever. And then for Maui, like Maui and Moana, they don't really get to meet each other until like later on in the movie. So it's kind of like that part one all over again, where you have Moana, just trying to find herself, wanting more for her character, and just sailing out there. And then once she does, then they meet. But it just felt like more of a rehash of the first film, but just not as interesting, because we've seen this before, of the story of this island girl who wants more. And then the supporting cast of characters, you have Samia, the little sister, and she's cute and all that, but that's just it. That's her thing. She's just being cute, and she's like, Moana, please don't go. I'm gonna miss you. And that's it. And she just keeps doing that, like, please don't go, and trying to do that cutesy face. But anything where I feel like it's too much, like they're trying to really force on this cuteness, and I'm just like, all right, enough. I feel like I might be in the minority for this, just because what is it, Boo from Monsters Inc. I believe a lot of people love her, but Boo, I'm just not a fan of those, like, just really cutesy baby stuff. But if you're a fan of Boo in Monsters Inc., I think you'll be a fan of Samia in this one. But for me, if you're like me and you're not a fan of Boo, I'm gonna get a sense that you're not gonna be a fan of Samia too. I think it depends on which cutesy and the stuff too. Like, it's got to be a balance, because I do like the Puss in Boots, like when Puss in Boots does the cute cat eyes. And then you have the other supporting cast of characters, like, because Moana needs a team now, so she's gonna need a bigger boat. One of the members is an engineer, and the engineer is named Loto, and she's voiced by Rose Matafeo. And this character, she's an engineer. She knows a lot about boats, and it's just you hear her talk, but it just feels very modern, like not something like 2,000 years ago. So for that, like, there's a lot of stuff like that just takes you out of that whole setting. But I think for her character, something about her character just really feels like it just takes me out of this world of Moana. And then you have the farmer. The farmer, he's like an old guy, so he helps grow food for Moana and her crew as they go on this long journey. And he's kind of grumpy. He doesn't want to even be on the ship, but he's there. And I feel like he's just kind of there. He's just there kind of like to be the comic relief of not wanting to be on the ship because he can't swim, and he's trying to grow food, and he needs like dirt and sand and soil and all that, and they're in the ocean, so it's going to be tough. And that's his stick. And then you have Moni. Moni's the person who tells stories. He's big and strong. He's got the long hair, so he's kind of like Maui. And he's a fanboy. So in the movie, he sees Maui. He's just going to be like, oh my God, it's Maui. And that's pretty much his whole thing throughout the movie. And nothing else. They're just so lackluster, one-dimensional. There's just not much to them other than just helping Moana. I think Disney has this problem now with these supporting characters, because if you watch even Pixar movies like the Buzz Lightyear movie with the supporting cast, forgettable. And also for Strange World, like the supporting cast, like for me, forgettable. And now you have these supporting characters here. Like I'll still remember them as the engineer, the fanboy, and the farmer, but other than that, forgettable and lackluster, not interesting. And let's talk about the music. The music, the music, it's not like really bad, but it's not like great like when you watch the first Moana film. And I think without Lin-Manuel Miranda to just bring in that, just the catchy tunes and just really memorable tunes, part 2 will never reach like the heights of part 1. And the most memorable music that was played in part 2 were songs that were used in 1. And also there's like a villain, right? I want to talk about this villain. It's a threat, but it's just kind of there. And the movie's trying to set up for something more, like more movies, more sequels. They're just trying to make this villain more than what the villain is. But by the time the movie ended, I just didn't care. I don't care about another Moana 3 just because I just didn't care what happened, because it's just kind of going through the motions. But yeah, Moana 2 originally supposed to be a show, but then they changed their mind to make it into a movie. Bob Iger's like, all right, we got to make this into a movie. Moana deserves to be a movie. But I think because of that change, that transition, I think the whole project suffered for that, because I felt like if they were just going to focus on it being a movie and maybe get Lin-Manuel Miranda back and just really tightening the script and making the script, just the story actually interesting, actually where people, I would care about them and care about their journey, and making the characters, the side characters, making them interesting, giving them more than what they have now, and not just for me feeling annoyed by them. And I think Moana 2, would have fared better. But this is what we have now, and maybe once, because this movie is trying to lead to a sequel, Moana 3. If that does happen, I'm hoping they're gonna focus on it being like, all right, let's make this a movie from the start. And I want to see that world again, the world I love from the first Moana movie, and catchy tunes, catchy music, just a fun story, a fun adventure, because I felt like this is just, there's adventure in this movie, but I'm just not interested in it because it's engaging. I want an engaging adventure. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Moana 2. Let me know what your thoughts are when the movie comes out. Am I the odd one out? Did you enjoy it? Let me know in the comments below. With that said, I'm John, and I'll see you guys next time.